is speaking to us. Adam is currently staying in a co-living house, and when you book your co-living accommodation, there's a question on our booking form, is there anything that you would like to get done in Jeffrey's bed? And we ask people so that we can then help or try and facilitate making it happen. Adam's response was particularly interesting. It's one that we had not had before. Adam's response was that I think I might be getting this wrong, but he's coming to Jeffrey's Bay to work on a novel that he's writing. So this is definitely a first for us. I don't think we've ever had anybody come into the house to purely write a novel. We've had a few dissertations and theses, but no novels. So of course that was immediately our prompt to get Adam, to persuade Adam to come and chat to us. Adam has a professional background, an interesting one, but I'll let you talk about that. But as far as I understand, for at least the last 8 months, you're on a kind of novel writing sabbatical, and you're going to share your experience of that today. Thanks so much, Adam. Over to you.
I should also say that this is very much a first for me. So it's my first novel, and when Steffi and Michael signed me up, I was like, yeah, I do public speaking all the time. And then earlier today I was like, I actually have never spoken about myself, for myself, about novel writing or anything. Because usually I work in government, so it's usually a kind of surname, government official, full name, nameless. And I go out with this kind of guise and stern face and all of that. So thank you all really a lot for coming. This is a great thing for me, just to sort of talk through the last 2 years of trying something completely new, really expanding on areas of my imagination and writing ability, and going on a real journey with it. And it's all very fresh in my mind. One thing that's important about novel writing is basically 99% of people that write novels they're not commissioned to it. It's on spec. So this is I don't know what happens to this. I'm sure you'll buy it though. So yeah, this just a very, very great reflective opportunity for me. So I'm gonna try and answer 2 questions and then we'll have a conversation. So the first question, the second question is, what's it like, obviously, and I'll sort of go through that. The first question, which I'm going to go into, is what led me to writing so far 100,000 words of spy coming of age story set in Hong Kong. What's going on? What's going on up there? It is a bit of a weird endeavour, to be fair. So I think let's start with that. Let's get it all out. I've been scratching an itch that I've always had. I've always wanted to write a novel, and I always imagined that I would retire and then write a novel. I was thinking earlier today about where does this itch come from? And my very first memories of my entire life is as a 3-year-old. I've got quite a few memories as a 3-year-old of Disney, and I don't know if one of the first definitely is watching the film Fantasia. I don't know if any of you know the film Fantasia, but in Fantasia there's one of the central segments of Fantasia is The Sorcerer's Apprentice, where Mickey Mouse is in like a cute little sorcerer's wizard costume with a cute little hat, and his job is to do the cleaning and the odd jobs for the wizard. And then the wizard goes upstairs and he's doing his cleaning, and he has the brilliant idea of, I'm going to cast a spell on all of the brooms and they'll just do the work for me. And so he does that, but then the brooms start propagating, and then they start trashing the wizard's office, and they flood the wizard's office. And I just remember as a 3-year-old being absolutely inspired by Mickey's genius idea and then terrified about the outcome and thinking, how has this happened? You know, like I'm just completely dazzled by this. Another memory I have is of Dumbo. Again, I'm about 3. Dumbo, and I have my hands on the screen, and Dumbo's mother is trying to communicate to Dumbo through prison bars, and I am bawling. I mean, I am crying my eyes out. And I think I also, another memory I have of like basically the TV as a 3-year-old is I would always, I was a kid who would always be sitting too close to the TV. That was a thing. But one of my games was like, I would kind of like, this is when they had the RGB squares, the little RGB squares, so I kind of like try and work out what's behind the RGB squares and then kind of take a step back and try and understand why, how the picture, you can see the picture, but you can't see behind the RGBs. Anyway, it really confused me, and I probably should have picked electrical engineering at university, but instead I picked English literature at university, which I can confirm didn't tell me what happens behind the RGB squares. But, you know, I guess it kind of leads that way. And then in my 20s, you know, I had the itch, but I didn't want to scratch the novel writing itch. I don't know. I mean, I guess I just wanted to, I've tried lots of things. I went really deep into lots of things. So I went really deep into photography. I couldn't draw for shit, and I learned how to draw. It's an amazing experience. Another one that's a little bit off the wall is I got very into board game design. And so designed a board game, Monkey Kingdom. You need to dislodge other monkeys from the trees, collect bananas, that kind of thing. It wasn't very fun. It felt like shelved that. But the amazing thing about this sort of creative, like deep focus creative, firstly, I really found flow in these things. You know, when I was really in my element, you know, kind of getting really deep into something, not being very good, and then slowly working my way into an area where I felt like I kind of understood what was going on. The other thing, other than flow, that I really got was I kept on learning these amazing things that had application in other areas. So, government policy official, because of the experience, sort of spending months being really into board game design, I can tell you that the reason that board games fail and the reason policy fails is the same. Okay, board games fail because the board game is a story with some board game mechanics and some instructions. If those things don't fit together well, it's very hard to get, you know, random strangers to collect around something and play out the behaviour that they need to. I mean, games are actually very complicated. And the second that the story doesn't link up to the mechanics, people can't remember what the point is. A Monkey Kingdom, the mechanics didn't work. So it was like, I mean, you watch people, and as the designer, and again, I think this is the same for the policy people, you're like, but this makes so much sense to me. I've been living and breathing this. How can you not get this thing which is so simple? But it's not simple to other minds, and they need to have a really smooth experience all the way into the instruction manual. And the instruction manual needs to be very, very basic and well organised. And again, as a policy official, the amount of times I saw 60 pages of jargon that barely made any sense to me, let alone to a member of the public, I was just like, this is a terrible board game instruction manual. And so it was really useful to live this in lots of different kind of creative domains. I mean, the thing about photography, like I had this like click moment with photography where I was like, wait, photography is about the things you decide to leave out. Because the whole world is a potential photograph. I mean, right in front of me, there's probably, you know, 150 odd photographs, but there's only going to be one that I take. And I think that, again, that insight applies itself in so many different areas of your life. So I kept on kind of making these links and really enjoying that as well. So that's kind of my 20s. And then, I've been a government official for about 6 years. In December 2023, so my sister has very severe learning difficulties. And in December 2023, we're at my cousin's 50th birthday. She's on great form. She's kind of got her struggles here and there. She can't communicate very clearly, very well. She's on great form, and then 2 days later, we're in intensive care. She's got pneumonia. It's gone septic, and she was in ICU for almost 2 months. She was it was really touch and go for about 10 days, and this experience kind of converged with an understanding, like an insight within myself, that a lot of my imaginative joy and skill had been a bit of a kind of escape from, the things going on around me. I kind of developed as a child with my sister, I developed a real sensitivity to translate things for her. I developed a sensitivity for the adults around me and what they need. And I developed an ability, when it all got too much, to just basically dive into my own mind, go blind, and start daydreaming about something. And so all of this kind of converged, and it shook me to the core. She survived, but it was the worst weeks of my life. And when I came out of it, I was completely burned out, and I also realised that I put a lot of my a lot of my personal developmental potential into this career castle imagination thing, and I hadn't really done anything just purely for myself for a long time, and I decided that if not now, when? Start writing the novel, see what happens. So that takes us to the starting point of the novel, and I don't know if that kind of personal story resonates with any of you, but it's make it real, make it personal, find the thing that really resonates, and scratch the itch of the big project that you're pushing on. Scratch that. Okay, so the second question is what's it like to write a novel? Okay, who here played guitar as a teenager? Have we got any teenage guitarists? Okay, was anyone like me actually quite crap at guitar? Yes? Okay, yeah. So, I play guitar. I'm not very musical, actually, and I had this horrible moment where I realised that every time I sat down to play guitar, I was literally just imagining I'm a rock star, and I feel like it's kind of obvious, why does a teenager play electric guitar? But at the same time, it wasn't obvious to me. I thought I was doing something with artistic value, and actually at a certain point it just kind of ruined the whole. I basically after then found it very difficult to pick up the guitar because it just wasn't really me. Maybe I'll go back to music at some point, but that's what writing a novel starts like. So basically the first 20,000 words of writing a novel, I was like, oh my god, I am a literary genius. Give me the award now. And looking back, it reminds me of 15 with a guitar. I'm I'm a Wembley, and I'm going mad. So I get to the end of the first 20,000 words. And it's been just exhilarating. And then I look at it and I'm like, wow, this is such trash. And so I write another 20,000 words, I'd start again. And it's trash, but it's not quite as awful, but it also needs to get chucked away. And I mean, basically, that process is part of the experience. So the experience is, it's going to be trash, and you've got to get used to that. And you've got to get you've got to be doing it for more that you've got to get over that hump, that initial thrill, the adrenaline, the real thrill, exhilaration of your fantasy. Because it's not about your fantasy; it's about the craft and it's about something other than your ego. It's about trying to carve out a story. It's not about selling them. So what I did was, well, over the time. Firstly, I got over the first 20,000 words not being so good. At a certain stage, I was like, maybe I should just continue the story and then come back to the beginning again, because just starting again and again is quite demoralising. Which was a good move. I definitely don't. You can't get perfection in the first 20,000 words. It's going to need to be rewritten anyway, But the other thing was I trained my mind, and I'm really proud of this actually, in that the way that people respond when you say you're writing a novel is more like, it's kind of like you're auditioning to be a movie star or something. It's like, oh wow, like you're really putting yourself out there. So like, oh my goodness. I mean, I might be talking to a star in the making. Remember me when you're. But it's not. The thing that I think it's like is if someone tells you they're doing an ultra marathon. Okay, I'm much more comfortable with the idea. I approach myself as a writer, and I would prefer you approach me as a writer like an ultra marathon runner. Okay, so one, know that it's a little bit crazy. Two, the thing that is impressive, and this is impressive if I meet anyone who's doing something similar, is the endurance and the process and the training and the exposure to injury and just the fact of turning up, getting to the start line. Right now, where I am on the race is within touching distance of a finishing line, which I call first draft complete manuscript, and I'm just really enjoying that feeling. Because I am going to get a finisher's medal, and anyone who's got the finisher's medal, I think deserves. Yeah, they've done something big, and it's not about you got the finisher's medal, but did you get the prize winners' money? Well, no one's going to know until after, far after. Maybe there's more ultra marathons that need to be run. I'm just focusing on doing this, and my uncle, he's run thousands of marathons. He's obsessive about marathons, and he said to me, "Don't even think about the finish line." He's like, "You get past the 50 kilometer mark. That's amazing. You get past the 70 kilometer mark. That's amazing." So, yeah, I think the whole reason I'm doing this is to not live my life with deferred enjoyment, like that career structure that I had, but rather like the shock I had with my sister's sort of experience in hospital. Do something that is purely me and just enjoy the moment of it. What else? Yeah, I can talk a bit more about what it feels like in the conversation bits. We're getting to the end. I'd rather have a conversation. The one thing I did think I'd do, which is a little bit cheesy, but co-working space. Okay, so takeaways for startups and other creatives. Yeah, this might be my favourite. Okay, I I think actually this is probably more of a consolidation of like all experiences I've talked about, to be fair. But this is what I think. I think if it looks like work to other people but feels like play to you, you're onto something good. By the way, this is kind of clicking with the board game theme before, and also within the novel there is a bit of a video game element within the video game theme in the story. So games. This is the game. So yeah, if it looks like work to other people but feels like play to you, you're onto something good. The second one is make sure you own your own rules of your game. So the reason I say that is that we're engaging in society with other people, with obligations. But my God, people slip in their rules into your game so frequently, and you're not playing their game. It's only your experience that matters. They actually don't care about your game. You're the only person that can really control that and audit whether or not the rules that are coming in are things that you really subscribe to. And yeah, the final one was don't worry about other people's games. They're playing their games. Look, I'm playing the game, in the novel writing game, I'm playing the ultra marathon running game that I described. I want to get to the finish line. I want to get my editor's report. I want to see what happens at the end. And other people are playing their games, and all respect to that. So there we go. That's me.
I want to ask the first question before I open the presentation. This is something that where we spoke about on one of the first days we were here, and a couple of years later ago, I asked why a spy novel in Hong Kong. So maybe we can start with that and then open up some more questions. We had a very good response.
So basically, I love the spy story and the spy genre for lots of reasons. But one reason is that I think that it's the best setup for the question of who am I? And the reason it's the best setup for who am I is that the spy's cover story is their most important thing. The spy's cover story is what they live or die by. And the stakes are international security, and so they are playing this role which seems so unfamiliar to us, and yet we are adopting a cover story, a persona, all the time. Whether it's at work, we have our work persona, or if it's with family members, we have our family persona. And so when you spend time on this, when you spend time on what my persona or cover story might be, in the spy's case, it usually goes down to the question of where do the lies stop? Where do I really start? And so I think it's just such a great container for exploring themes of identity.
Also, you had a history of working in the industry, right?
No, I don't want to.
We're going to talk about that. I found that really interesting. Let me not ask any more questions for now.
I have a question. So, you're writing a novel, so already I commend you for that. And, it's like an ultra marathon, a major journey to get there. What's your writing experience, to get to, I want to write a novel, because there's,
just
in between that.
Yeah.
Just straight into it.
So I think the creative side projects were like mini training runs almost for the novel being the main thing I was always wanted. And then why a novel? Like that is almost a question I don't know the answer to. It's mysterious. It's a mysterious question for me as well, and I just accept that I really wanted to.
So you were comfortable to just go because you know you haven't done like short stories or anything, you know.
Yeah, I had done quite a lot of writing in different sort of forms before. Kept a diary, did lots of. I did a creative non-fiction evening class where we had some good exercises. So I felt like, yeah, in the end, if you want to do it, I just had to go for it. And like I said, I felt like some of the confidence came from the like photography, drawing, board game design, and other things that I've done before.
Thanks.
Who are some of your favourite novelists, or just general authors?
Yes, so my favourite novelists are Hermann Hesse is one of my favourites. John le Carré in the spy genre definitely is a favourite as well. And I like there's a thriller writer called Dennis Lehane who he wrote the novel of Shutter Island and the novel of a film called Mystic River, and he also wrote The Wire as well. He's great. So those three are probably my favourites.
Another one.
Yeah.
Have you used ChatGPT to help you along the way?
Great question.
Good question. Thanks.
Yeah, I thought. I thought I'm really. This is another I guess obsession topic for me is AI. I'm really interested in it, and I read a lot of technology, futurism, and spend a lot of time playing with ChatGPT. Yes, I have used it. It's really good for some things, it's not so good for other things. It's great for brainstorming, great for research. I think that it is overtaking all of our capabilities. And I think that people who think that it's not creative are just looking at its current form, which is the worst form of ChatGPT you will ever experience in your life. By the way, this technology holds its exponential improvement within itself, so you don't think it's good now, but have you compared ChatGPT this year to last year to the year before?
Month to month.
Yeah, I mean it's and then the question is, where does this fit? The other question, other than brainstorming and what was the other thing I said? Brainstorming, research. Yeah, brainstorming. Other than brainstorming, research, and maybe a little bit of editorial stuff as well. Where does it fit artistically? And I thought about that question a lot, and I think that it comes down to, the lesson that I take is from visual art. So there are great painters, and also sculptors say Jeff Koons, who have workshops, and they take a workshopping approach to their art. Da Vinci, supposedly only painted Mona Lisa's eyes. They've got artisans working for them. Other artists are very personal, very
Purist.
Yeah, pure. Well, they just do it on their own. They just do it on their own, and so I think probably writing is being cracked open for that kind of diversity between building a workshop of agents and just saying, no, you know what, my art is me and a typewriter. I don't even like a computer, So, but it's all valid, but it's going to change everything for sure.
Thanks.
There's so there's two parts that I see, right? So on the one end there's the story, and now you've got many thousand words to kind of make up that story, so you have to go deep into the story, the content of making that story become what you need. Then there's the other side of the technical side, so narrative structure of the hero's journey of Joseph Campbell, or character development, so you have to build a flaw in this character, and then how do you develop this character there's a more technical side of writing a story. Is there one that you lean towards more in writing a story, or is it like a both and one thing, or what?
Yeah, look, so I it's a great question. It's a great question. I think you've got to be comfortable, good, welcoming of all of it. Getting one of those wrong, like you can't be a good. I don't think you can be a good writer if you're really good at story, but you can't do sentences. You know, you've got to be able to do the sentences and you've got to be able to do the story. I mean, in a way, good writer as well. I mean, it kind of comes down to what you want to try and do. I mean, I would like to sell a story people want to read, and when I say sell a story that people want to read, if I'm not good at sentences, it doesn't really matter if the story is good. Within the sort of novel writing community, the difference people sort of break this down into is, are you a plotter or a pantser? Are you someone that like plans everything out in advance and gets really like all of the details laid out so you know where you're driving to, you know the A to the B, and you know that? Or are you flying by the seat of your pants? You need the uncertainty, you need the surprise, you want to turn the headlamps off and just go into the night. And so you have that full spectrum between people that plan it in minute detail, and people that are just like, no, I sit down, I don't know what I'm doing, and I just go. I'm definitely on the bottom side. I think, I can't really comprehend the pantser side, but I'm sure it's got to be personal and authentic, and there are lots of people that are set that way.
Thanks, Jimmy. I'll ask the last question, if that's okay, which is my standard question.
Yes.
How did you end up in JLA?
Oh, well, okay, so my mum is South African. A few years ago, I was in Cape Town. I described a place that I wanted to go visit. Like a kind of place where you can go surfing, it's quiet, it's chill, it's, a place where you can kind of tune out, get offline and do stuff yourself. And my family members said, have you heard of Jeffreys Bay? So it was always in my mind. This is from a few years ago, and then fast forward, I'm writing a novel, I need somewhere like Jeffreys Bay, comes back in mind. Anyway.
Cool. Thanks so much, Evan.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Steffi's got the mailing list, right?
You
agreed to what, like 5 or 10 adverts?